Yeah.
You hosting these Blexit debates back to back. Chief moderator. That's another one of the many names, the many hats that goes to Hotep Jesus. Now you're chief moderator. You hosted two Blexits. I didn't watch the girl one, but I think I got an hour and 15 minutes into Bryson versus
Shaka. Yeah.
And that caused quite a bit of stir on the.
What do you think about that first hour you saw?
I thought Bryson was all right, but he started slipping. You know what I mean? And like I don't think neither was making like really good, salient points. You know what I'm saying? But I came in there because everybody was getting on him it was just about the part where he didn't give a fuck about Marcus Garvey and all them niggas. You know what I'm saying? But what I don't think he didn't articulate his point well. Is that happening today? Yeah. I bet you if I asked my nephew about Marcus Garvey, he'd be like, who? Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what they're going to give me.
Yeah.
But whose fault is that? That's our fault.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to do a better job of communicating people in our culture, in our lineage, that was instrumental. Like Booker T. Washington and all that. So I mean, it didn't surprise me that they don't care about Marcus and all that. Like when I came up, there was a resurgence in Malcolm X because of the movie. I came up I was in high school in the 90s, early 90s. That's when Spike came out in the movie. Then everybody had them X hats and everybody was digging deep. And you know what I mean? But that's what we need. We can't expect them people to be like really on Garvey if we don't give them nothing.
Right.
Where's the Garvey movie? Where's the Booker T movie? Movies would help a lot with that. We're gonna see if they didn't fuck up the Harriet Tubman thing, they would have been really on that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that first hour it exposed something we have wrong in our culture. In Adolf's culture, I think. But it was cool. What did you think about it?
Well, the two names were John Henry Clark and Chiganta Diop.
Right, John Henry Clark. That's right.
Yeah, John Henry Clark, and like you said, it was really hard to pick a winner. I felt that Bryson's just a better arguer and debater than Shaka is. I felt like Shaka actually had points and Bryson was just playing defense the whole time, But when Bryson said he didn't care, and then he continued his tirade on Twitter and said, oh, I studied Malcolm X, I studied Martin Luther King Jr. It's just like, yo, that's February Black history. Like
February 1st.
Yeah. That's February 1st history, And John Henry Clark and Diop are the names, like he said, like he's right. Yeah, you say these names in the community, nobody will know who they are. But that's exactly why it's important for us to care. He said he didn't care about those names. But that's exactly why it's important for us to care about those names, because there's a lot of history lost when we're dealing with these two names, So when we think about Black history, you could tell that Bryson's Black history basically starts at slavery, He even went with the whole talking point, Africa sold the slaves, which is like not even true, right? It's like partly true, but that's not the whole story. You feel me? Right. As I said on Rogan, they took slaves because there were people here already. Only 5% of those slaves came over on slave ships from Africa. So what about the other 95% that they stole from the Caribbean, South and North Americas? So you can tell his historical knowledge is limited. And it's exactly why you have to study John Henry Clark and Diop, because when you listen to them, you start to realize quickly that Black history doesn't start at slavery. It starts way before that. And if you don't follow these guys' teachings, you would never know about our contributions to Greece and Greek culture. You know, you would never, I mean, the amount of information that could be lost in that 2-hour debate between John Henry Clark and our great ally, Mary Leftowitz. You know, that's a huge debate in Black culture. And to say you don't care about that stuff, you know, is really weird. And then him and Brandon Tatum took the IG to talk shit about me. That was cute. I expect nothing less of Blexit people. But you know, they said, "Oh, Ben Carson over Marcus Garvey." Just like, that's what y'all doing now? Y'all like pitting Black men against each other?
Now hold on, man. See, this is another thing where I think what they said didn't come out right, but I understand what he was trying to say. You know, in all honesty, like, Carson should be Obama. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? But the history ain't gonna play out that way. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we got to be careful of, you know, because, you know, we have other people in history that got swept under the rug. They're trying to say that Carson has been swept under the rug, which is true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's really true.
Yeah.
But they don't make the disconnect because they don't really go back into, you know, history and stuff like that. But we got to put them on. But listen, like, John Henry Clark, I didn't really know about him until, like, I guess like 3 or 4 years ago. Okay. When I was following you, something you put me on, you know what I'm saying? So, like, and I'm, you know, I'm old, you know what I'm saying? So I like some of them cats. I don't really, if they don't get exposed to it, I don't see how they're gonna find out. You know, now, do we have an obligation to yourself to look it up? Yeah, because I did that myself. You know what I'm saying? Once I heard y'all talk about him, I was like, well, let me find out what this motherfucker talking about. So I looked up his videos myself and listened and shit. I was like, damn, this motherfucker was talking that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I understand what they were trying to
say. Yeah.
Yeah. And but you know, another thing about Garvey though is, like, to be all honesty, like, only the Hoteps are going to be like super on the Garvey tip, because the Hoteps would have been the only people that would have left. You know what I'm saying? Most people didn't want to leave. You know what I mean? If we're going to be honest with it, you know, the idea is good, but the mentality of that time and even today is like, hell no! Like, so that's. I mean, I understand. I kind of understand that, but. I mean, we just don't know how to put shit together.
I mean, when I think about Garvey, I think about the man who exposed the NAACP.
Okay, I got you.
You know, I didn't even think Africa and UNIA and Back to Africa. We could do all that, you know what I mean? But that's like more of like the common things that people know about Garvey. Some of the uncommon things they know about Garvey is his fight with NAACP and how the NAACP and Blacks worked to get him locked up and extradited. Right. So as somebody who's as a part of Blexit, it's important for you to know that history because it's drawing parallels with the Black left. You can see how the Black left treats Black males who try to do something for Black people. So when you dismiss Garvey, you basically dismissing a conservative. You know what I mean? Like, that's really bad when you dismissing the whole entire conservative. When he went through, you know, struggles in 1913. This is 1913 before Ben Carson was even thought of, you know. Shorty said Marcus Garvey walked so Ben Carson could run. And that's wholly true. You know, Garvey was exemplified Black power, if you want to call it that. You know, but to say you don't care about these people is much different than just saying, I don't know about them, let me brush up on them. You know, if you bring up a name and you say, hey, check out this Black scholar, and I don't know about him, I'm going to just write down the name. And like you said, go do my due diligence. Imagine being black and not knowing who Khalid Muhammad is.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of immaturity in him. You know, the immaturity in him made him say, like, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? When if he was a little bit more mature, he'd be like, I'm gonna get back to you on it.
Right. His immaturity showed, and that's why I said I trust Shaka with the kids more, because at least Shaka's gonna hit the kids with some knowledge, and then the kids could do whatever they want with the knowledge. But it seemed like Bryson really don't got nothing to teach nobody. He's just a kid himself. But imagine being black and not knowing who Khalid Muhammad is. Imagine that. Imagine walking this earth in America and not knowing who Khalid Muhammad is. Could you imagine that? What's that like? Like, are you even a full ADOS if you don't know who Khalid Muhammad is?
Boy, those were different times back then, man. That's crazy. It was way different. That was only the 90s, man.
Oh, yeah.
It might as well have been the 60s. The shit he was talking
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I pulled up the Khalid Muhammad Donahue a couple of weeks ago and played it for my daughter. She was having a ball with that. She was laughing her ass off. Because, you know, he entertains, but his demeanor, you know, how he handles being in that spotlight, some of the things he said, his rebuttals, his retorts, you know, he's definitely a little bit radical. But imagine not knowing that he organized over, you know, I want to say 10,000 black men in New York City, had the original Million Man March. You know, Million Man March, they give credit to Farrakhan, but the original Million Man March is Khalid Muhammad. And then they told him he couldn't have it. So he ended up having something smaller in New York. And he went to blows with NYPD in 91. Imagine walking this earth and not knowing about that type of black power. You know what I mean? Like, you don't know your history. And it's a whole side of black male masculinity history that is masked in favor of more effeminate types or softer types or Ben Carson MLK types. See, Ben Carson's a clean dude. He's not really going to get out of line. He's not going to talk too much black empowerment, but they're never going to show you the dudes that's talking that black empowerment. And I'm not saying don't listen to Ben Carson, but you got to always get both sides. Otherwise, you're not a holistic black man in America. You're not a man in America unless you know about both sides. You know what I mean? It's like having Anderson Cooper with no Joe Rogan. You know what I mean? Like, you need both sides. So, you know, I just felt like the debate was a complete waste of my time. I really felt like it was a waste of my time. I was really, it was hard to get through those 2.5 hours of listening to them going back and forth, talk about like absolutely nothing.
It wasn't bad. That first hour and a half, it wasn't bad watch. You know, it wasn't bad. It was entertaining. The
first hour wasn't bad. I think it after a while it got redundant.
Right.
You know, because the first hour was kind of funny. There was some shots thrown and they were still settling into their positions. But that second hour was just like, and then that last half hour with Bryson talking about he didn't care. I was just like, all right, it's time to wrap this up for the white folks see this. For the kids see this when they say they don't care about scholars. You know what I mean? Like, I would never say I don't care about Hippocrates or Democritus or Plato or Socrates. I would never say I don't care about these people. I care about all these scholars. You know, even a left-wing scholar, I would never say I don't care. They could be on a complete anterior side of me, and I would still say, yo, I want to study it because I need to study to see how they moving out here. Like, you might have to study. Like, I studied Marxism directly from Karl Marx. I don't like Marx, but I do care enough to study. You know what I'm saying? You got to study the enemy's agenda. I even study, you know, some Ta-Nehisi Coates or whatever his name is. I read some of his stuff every once in a while just to brush up on how these weak Negroes think. You know what I mean? But you need all of that.
Hold on. But wasn't another one of his points, like the major point was black kids of the day ain't gonna listen to any of that. They don't care about. They listen to the rappers.
Right.
What rapper did he bring up? I can't remember. I thought it was something like off the wall. Like I thought it was Rihanna or something. It was something crazy.
Cardi B or something like that.
Yeah, he said they more into tune to what Cardi B is saying than what historical people.
Yeah, and he said that on Twitter, and he said, "Well, look at the streams versus the Amazon book sales."
Right, that's what he was saying.
You know, and I'm just like, well, you could do that across all genres and all races. Like reading is rare, no matter what race you are. You know, like motherfuckers don't read. That's just white or black. You know, so I thought that was an unfair comparison, but to say that the kids don't care is wholly false. As somebody who, I used to live in this little apartment complex, and we lived in the back. And you know anything about living in the back of a black apartment complex, that's where all the shit go down. So I got cool with some of the kids in the neighborhood. Some of them was gang members, but we all was back there. We would play ball, you know. If you play ball, you got to play with everybody, you know.
Right.
And I was on my Hotep shit. And I remember numerous times where I would be back there preaching and the kids would stop and listen and ask questions. I think it's adults that don't want to listen. I think the kids, at least when I start talking, the kids' ears be propped up. They're like, yo, what he say? Because it's different. I feel like the kids absorb it more and observe it better and want it more than some of the adults. Adults, you know, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But, you know, even when I'm with the homies, man, and we talking, you know, the homies be hitting me up. Yo, I seen something happen with Donald Trump. Yo, break it down for me, bro. Come on, big bro. So the streets are in tune. They might not be going to look for the information, but I don't think that's a matter of they don't care about the information. I think that's a matter of discipline. Discipline is really hard to cultivate. Not too many people have discipline, but I do think they care about our history. You know what I'm saying? They care. They definitely care.
Yeah. You said a lot, man. Well, first I got to say, rest in peace, Dr. Khalid. I want to get it on record. Somebody killed him, man. They must have used that heart attack gun. That's what I think they did. They did it, man.
Yeah, they got him.
He was in too good a shape, man. That man, he was in impeccable shape, man.
Yeah. There was nothing wrong with Khalid, and they said they got him with some sort of heart. I think they said it's some heart problem or something. They got him in the hospital. Yeah, they definitely got him with the heart attack gun. I'm rocking with that. Absolutely. My daughter asked me what happened to him. I was like, they get murdered him and shit. You know, I just, you know, we ain't even looking that up on Google. Fuck what Google said. They killed him. Okay, that's what happened. That's what they do with all the strong black leaders.
Yeah, rest in peace to them. So, any more debates, or are we done?
I don't know, man. I'm done for this week. I'm debated out. Maybe I'll moderate something next week, you know. But I ain't not this week. I'm gonna enjoy my time with the fam doing this Thanksgiving thing. Chat said Hotep Jesus naming his turkey Dikembe. Quiet Brian said amount of blocks tomorrow plus or minus 3K.
You're blocking people crazy tomorrow, man.
I don't know. We're gonna have to see on my mood, man. Depends on how I roll out the bed.
Okay.